Welcome back. It's Monday, the day that the Senate President, his deputy, and indeed the former clerk of the Senate, or is it the National Assembly now, and his deputy are all going to be arraigned. And we're going to get clarity on the matter once it is pronounced upon by a court of competent jurisdiction. I think I've given it its full title. But in the meantime, we are going to be having our say, and we're hearing it. People have talked about the sanctity. People have been talking about how could, Senator Saraki even have done that with, for which he is charged. He wasn't even in office then. We've heard all of this, but thank God for judges and courts. That's why we have them. They're going to look at all of these matters. Often when judges make their rulings or sand down their judgments or make pronouncements, oftentimes you hear the thinking of the judge. It just might well be that some of these things we've been hearing might be reflected and commented upon in some of these issues. But the principle I think nobody can throw out is that for too long there's been the culture of impunity. We've been doing things in a certain way. We've been settling things politically in-house, family affair. Apologies to former President Obasanjo. But now we have we've come to a time where they're saying that, look, nobody is immune to criminal, prosecution. And if anybody, no matter where you are, it doesn't reflect on your organization necessarily. You have to answer the charge and go back home and continue your work if it is thrown out. However, if it is not thrown out, won't we then come to that cleaning of the system that this is all about?
I want to thank you specially for raising this question. Now, talking about sanctity, I want to move it a little bit out of Saraki and whatever. This parliament that we have had very horrible experience with these two chambers in the last 16 years. They are discussing sanctity, removing the personality of the person of the president of Nigeria. He's a politician. I am not. Well, I am a politician, but at a different level. You know that if we didn't have President Muhammadu Buhari as our president today, what we have now and what we have going on now, we will not have it. You see, even with his presence,
I think that's fair to say.
Yes, because you see, he brings nothing outside of his nationalistic tendency, nothing else. I mean, I do some little business all over Lagos. Sir, I went to somewhere and I was told, Mr. Man, please, we don't want trouble here. This thing that we used to do before, we can no longer do it. And I said, no, I have done this thing for 5 years. You guys are owing me so amount. And they said to me, go and bring your number. If you bring your number. Cut story short, when I pressured this organization, I was told that they do not want Buhari's wahala. This is a very remote organization hidden somewhere.
Even though it's not Buhari personally,
absolutely.
It's about these are different times.
They have changed the system of doing things. Sir, even with that, these guys are asking us for pension. This National Assembly that is talking about, they're asking us for pension, asking us for Prado, asking us for life pension.
No, they're not asking us. They've taken the Prado.
They have taken the Prado. Look, I think that this is a great time in Nigeria. It doesn't matter all the agitations are all going on. The reason we still have our nation today. And
in any case, among the things that the courts will no doubt be looking at will be this, the whole matter about, even when you're going to change the rules, such as they're alleging now, the 2011 and the 2015 one, there are processes.
Of course, the processes are...
Yeah, there are processes. It's spelled out.
The
processes, those processes take place.
The processes did not take place. This is why I said the criminal aspect cannot be
swept under
no matter how the
Alhaji Bello, I don't want to lose Alhaji Bello, who's been holding on. Good morning, Alhaji Bello.
Uncle Yori, good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in.
Thank you very much. How are you? Yeah, please, quick one. Uncle Yori, please, let's call a spade. Now, you see, if care is not taken, the way the politicians, the way they are driving Nigeria, if care is not taken, why I say let's call a spade. You can see the man in the suit.
Mr. Okolubo.
Mr. Okolubo. You know, they have prepared all the politicians now, and even the people at the upper legislative, they have prepared their mind on what to do and how to keep this case again. Yesterday night, I watched Adeyeye in the channel television. In fact, if you see how this man, the chief whip of Senate, if you see how this man analyzed the case before even they go to court, you know that, my brother, Nigeria is a big problem with these people. If guy is not taking all they are,
what is true
after is to ruin Nigeria completely and go away with it. If guy is not taken, and I think it's getting to the time that Nigeria has to rise up against these people, because this man was analyzing that even if they vote 10 times, there's no way they will beat Saraki, because they have the money to play around. They have the money to fight. They have more than enough, both in and out.
All right,
so
then.
If
I hear the
not taken, let them go to court. Let the court, because people are watching both internal and external on what is on this now. Everybody, Marafa raised against this thing from day one. Senator Marafa said this is a fake document.
Indeed.
People are using. This is a fake document.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Alhaji Bello. Alhaji Bello, I thank you for calling in. Fake to the extent that I think in law they might say something along the lines of it, the document, even if it exists, was never perfected. I don't know. But the important thing that is out there in the public is that if the rules are going to be amended or changed, there is a prescribed procedure. We're in an era of due process. Nobody has said so far that those conditionalities were met. Nevertheless, the 2015 document guidelines were not reportedly this time, were produced and then distributed and then used. Although Ken has pointed out that, but this very thing has been used for other purposes. And so...
And they were not also at the helm of affairs at the time, which the guy from Benue State addressed.
No,
yes.
but
what he didn't address, what Ken didn't address is that he, as a politician, he didn't tell you and myself and the viewers at home that there's no difference between night and day as far as politicians are concerned.
Well, no, but you see the thing about
because he's a politician.
No, let me come here. It's not about night and day. It's about who produced. My question I ask is, who produced those rules on the night? If you say they produced it on the night of the 8th of June and distributed it on the night,
yes.
Do you understand? Who produced those rules? Okay, let me interest you. Who is the SSA to the president?
You're getting into the specifics that no doubt the court is going to involve itself, particularly
because Itai is one of the witnesses that the prosecution is going to call.
Yes.
And interestingly, he's today the SSA to the president on National Assembly matters. He was a chairman rules and business in the 7th Senate. And because he was the chairman rules and business in the 7th Senate, he becomes a very important witness.
Indeed.
And interestingly, he's a liaison officer to the Senate for Mr. President. This is where I also commend Mr. President.
Is that significant?
It's significant.
Very significant.
It's significant because he's a witness. He has to come and testify. And the same man is supposed to be your liaison between you and the National Assembly that is trying to mend the frictions that may emanate and might not emanate. This is why
but he was also a principal character.
To say it should be in-house. It can't be in-house because he was a principal character.
Okay, I don't want to lose
he was a principal character
Taufik,
in the whole matter.
Sorry. Mr. Taufik calling in from Oshobo, good morning.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you for calling in.
And good morning to your good analyst in this studio.
Good morning, sir.
So, Mr. Yori, my point over this issue is that I think whatever Adeyeye was saying on channel yesterday, I believe when God wants to catch a thief, He knows how to catch them. That is the point I think we are missing. My first question is, Saraki and Okemorodo, they were in the house when the election took place in 2011, and they know how the proceeding went. Now, 2015, I'm talking precisely to the man in the studio on suit. Now, because he is saying that maybe they don't know about how the law was changed, wherever. Now, they themselves know how the election took place in 2011, and now they're having a different in 2015. They themselves could not read aloud. I think the judges would look in between the line of those issues. And please, for God's sake, these are issues about we have a document in 2011 and 2015. He himself admitted that there is a rule on how that rule will be changed. Before it can be changed, there is a procedure. Was that procedure followed? I think the judges should do justice. Mr. Yori, the bottom line is the judiciary now are on watch. We count on them to do the needful. May God bless Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
He's taking us back to the amendment, which is what we have not dealt with. In the amendment process, if you are to amend the rules, as a senator, you write to the president of the Senate saying, I want these rules to be amended.
So none of those
So
things
the
were
Senate
done.
president will now cause it to be published
But
and
none of those
distributed
things were-
around
but
the
none of
senators.
those things were done.
And then the chairman of the rules, which interestingly was in Tainang, will cause it to be published and it will be debated on the floor of the Senate. And 2/3 of the senators, or majority, if it's passed, becomes one of the rules of the Senate.
None of which
And
was done.
None of which was done. Which was why the police said they had seen that they did not follow the rules, and there definitely there must have been forgery here.
Okay.
Because those amendment processes were not followed. My only question, which is what I'm asking, I'm not supposing, I'm not a spokesman for Saraki, and I'm a spokesman for Ekweremadu. I'm only being a pundit, which is what I've always been on programs, is who produced those documents?
Well,
Because we find out.
Yes, that is what
that is
the
what
night
the court-
before.
that is what
Yes,
the
that
court
is why
is
it is
going to
important. The
plan.
night before they went
Yes,
to
yes.
the who produced
But
it.
if
This-
a printer
this is-
produced
It's
it,
a printer that did it.
This
Who
is
gave
what
it to the
I
printer?
suggest.
The clerk must answer that question,
I
and
am
the deputy clerk.
suggesting
Who
that-
gave it to you?
I'm suggesting that indeed is the work of the courts to find
Yes.
out.
That's what I'm
You
asking.
recall that in the aftermath of Senate President Saraki arriving in office, and when he was now telling the story, that was after, this was, I think, after he had visited former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. You know, there are a few days. He had narrated the story of how, and nobody had known it before he narrated the story, of how you guys won't even know that I slept in this place
Yeah, it was
since
in a
last
car.
night.
It was in a car.
I was in a car.
Absolutely.
Now,
Elias.
nobody knew that.
I remember-
so you can
I remember- I
you can now
remember he
imagine.
said so early hours of the morning.
You can now imagine someone saying, "But how could he have done? How could
It was from
anybody
his
have
car.
done?"
It was from his-
So you see, there are all sorts of devices that we don't know anything about.
can never
Now,
know
I'm
with this
not
politician.
saying- I'm
I don't want
not
to
saying anything, but I'm saying that thank God
didn't
for
hear
the
that. I
courts.
didn't see that.
You didn't know that
Yeah.
until we were told by
Yeah.
Senator Saraki himself.
Just heard it now.
That as a matter
We are
of
just
fact,
hearing this
the
now.
trick-
Yeah.
The trick
Oh,
was
you didn't
that
hear? He said it.
the trick
No,
was that
he
I
said
slept
it.
here
He
in
said
my
it.
car
Because
since
there's
last
no
night.
difference between
No, he
night
said
and
it.
There was
day.
no
He
way he
said
could
it.
come out,
To be fair,
come
he
into the
said
place, in the morning hours. But apparently he had known about this. Now, this is irrelevant to what's going on, but I just thought I'd bring that up. Since people are now saying that, you went there then, how could anything have happened? You never can tell.
But you see, two of your callers mentioned the experience, the interview they saw on a sister.
No, three of them.
Three of them.
Three of them have mentioned
I think that they
yes.
need to be pacified by telling them, don't let it worry you. Because you see,
Three of them have mentioned it.
because you see, the man is a citizen like the rest of us. And Nigeria is greater than all of us put together, even the National Assembly. So the point here is that if he thinks that they have so much money and whatever to whatever, the history of Saraki will become very important to Nigerians like me. He has had a very protracted history from his days in the banking industry.
Yeah, but none of that is going to count in
Now,
court.
it will not count. I'm
None
just
of is
saying
going
that
to
to
count.
the, I'm just
The
talking
court
to
is going to concern itself with the issue.
absolutely
with the
but
issue
the-
before
but
it.
the issue before it. But what I'm saying that for us as Nigerians, I'm pacifying those who are worried by what they saw on TV last night.
Okay.
That they should not let what they saw Adeyeye explain on TV
Okay.
bother them. What is important to us is that we are going somewhere. If not now, tomorrow we arrive.
Okay. Mr. Abdul Karim from Adamawa, thank you for calling back. We lost your call the first time. Go ahead, please.
Hello, Mr. Yori. Good morning.
Good morning.
This is Abdul Karim calling from Adama. My own point of view over this Bukola Saraki issue. All the time, Bukola Saraki, I'm seeing like this 8th assembly, they are not ready to help this country. Worldwide, people are seeing our National Assembly. Why a corrupt person, people are backing him? Let's allow rule of law to work. If Bukola Saraki didn't violate the law constitution of National Assembly, let the court testify. If Bukola Saraki is guilty, let him go to jail. That's my own personal opinion, because they are deceiving us to delay our changes that we have made. I myself that have been talking, I'm PDP member, I'm always saying this. Why they run from PDP to APC? Because of getting power? Because they doesn't have truth? That's the meaning.
All right.
Please,
Okay.
let them allow the judiciary to work. If Bukola Saraki is free, I am not contesting for his position. Bukola Saraki has been a Senate president. You remove him today, former Senate president, they will call him.
Okay. Thank you very much
my
for...
own personal view, they want us to march to this Abuja. That's what they are trying to tell us.
Thank you very much for calling in. People can't... One thing that people, especially those that are in terms of sides, you know, we were talking about the commentary going on, those people that are on the side of Saraki, so to speak, they are saying, why are you not looking at other people? But those who are not on that side are saying that strip the whole thing of sentiments, please. The matter here is a narrow criminal one. Let the courts pronounce that that is bunkum, it never happened, and then everybody goes back to work. However, if the courts don't see their way to so pronouncing, I imagine a conviction might, you know, ensue, and we take it from there. And the point of this, it has been told us by the authorities, is that it's not business as usual anymore, and we have to get to a place where the people begin to understand and accept and believe that true, it's not business anymore. I think we're all party to people saying that, but why is it? It seems that most of these worries are going to one side. And again, we have been told that you can't do everything at once. You know, so one after the other kind of a thing. But for some reason, people are not looking at the whole narrow, if you want, although it might be narrow, but it's very, very significant, the whole criminal aspect of this charge.
The essence of this is, if you build this house on a faulty foundation, it will eventually collapse.
Exactly.
If the rules with which they were elected, I did not, because of the football match, I didn't get to listen to Adeyeye, but I heard about the aspects of what he said, which they're referring to. If the rules that elected Saraki were not the rules that were in place, it therefore shows that the election of Saraki and Ikweremadu becomes null and void, which is the essence of the complaints of the other group. And you can't fault them. If I shall and entitled, if I must be present to be able to cast my ballot, yes, supposing they were there, it's also possible Saraki would have still won. But if it has been done on a faulty premise, this is where the Attorney General has made his recommendation that let us know what the faulty promise is. But we all know the judicial process in this country. We all know how the judicial process can take this matter for another 2 to 3 years.
But I doubt.
You understand?
Because the system,
although we have the ACJL, do you understand? For criminal trials, which mandates criminal charges not for you to have stay of prosecution, stay of execution, and so on and so forth. But we know how lawyers can be.
I'm just
so many
guessing,
kind of charges,
without knowing too much about it. I'm guessing that this is not one of those cases that are going to last 3-4 years, simply because the judges, the court system is part of Nigeria. We should have courts to
try criminal cases. I think that's
let
what
me
we
bring
should
in
do.
Mr. Momo, calling in from Maryland in Lagos. Good morning, Mr. Momo.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you for calling in, sir.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in.
Okay, yeah. Please, I think the two gentlemen, the one on suit, please,
Mr. Okolugbo.
Enough of the deceit. There are too much talk, too much. You come to the public stations and you start telling us what we know already. Look, the reality of ground is that these people, in fact, I just read something about this Senate, Chief Senate, that there was forgery in the house. So there's confirmation on these things already. And Saraki cannot start toying with everybody. Look, out of how many million people are in Nigeria, and just selected few people, just about 500 people will just come and turn off. Look at the situation on the ground. Look at the situation. Look, people are dying, people are suffering. And these people are just holding up the whole Nigeria to ransom. This is not one man's country. This is a collective country that all of us have to live together. If they don't know what they are doing, they should give us a break, please. Can we just tell these people that enough is enough? This is for everybody to walk. We will let's straight to Abuja. And we should do that. You can stop for this.
All right,
people are dying in silence.
Thank you very much, Mr. Momo, for calling in.
No, but I think I need to clarify something.
Okay.
Yes.
Time running
It's
out fast.
very clear that you people Mr. Momo doesn't seem to understand what I'm saying. I haven't said that the criminal aspect should not. I have said it over and over
You have
this
said
program.
it cannot be swept under the carpet.
under. Maybe he doesn't understand what I mean by swept under the carpet. What I mean is that the criminal aspect must be on the front burner. But the issue here is that is a political dimension is a question I ask. Because I expect that if the criminal aspect is not being swept...
I'm sorry, Ken, for interrupting you.
Yes.
Isn't the political dimension obsolete once we're talking about
No, the criminal aspect is there. It's before us here. It's before us.
The political dimension becomes obsolete.
Taken. So the political aspect was what I was just questioning. I was looking at what... I was juxtaposing and encapsulating the whole process.
Okay.
But I have kept on saying at this program that the criminal aspect is important. It should not be swept under the carpet. And that's why I asked the question.
In fact, it is the
who
only,
printed
it is the
rules?
basis.
That's
the
why I
criminal
asked.
action is the basis
Who
for
printed
which
those rules?
we are in court
or
this
whose
morning.
orders were the rules printed?
This is what the courts are going to have to decide.
Yes.
Who made up those rules? Who printed them?
Yes.
They were distributed.
Those are the
so
things
these are the things. How did that happen?
The point that people are making is that we've gotten to a point, I said it at the beginning, that people do not think they are too big to go to jail.
Well,
No, everybody
to
can
court.
to
No,
jail.
in this
Why?
country, the
To go
way
to
people,
court.
No, to be jailed.
Obasanjo was jailed.
We
so-
have politicians in the last 16 years who think they are too big.
Okay.
Saraki has been playing around with us on our intelligence in the last how many months. With the CCTC, he's been frustrating, delaying it. For me, they think that they are too big to answer questions.
Fortunately for Senator Saraki and his colleagues,
They have an opportunity.
They have
Absolutely.
an opportunity
to clear their names.
To clear
that
their
was
names
why I used
before
myself as an example.
impartial arbiter.
You must go if you are innocent.
The courts
to make sure you clear your name.
have to be an impartial arbiter. The courts are part of Nigeria.
Absolutely.
And so they know what's going on in Nigeria. So whatever has been said about the courts in the past, I'm sure everybody has, shined their eye and
But when you
has
start
keened
talking
their
about
ears.
the political whatever,
No, I don't know.
yeah,
You
politics
see,
is what you play. It's your game.
We got to go now. We've run out of
If you
time.
do an infraction, you will be punished or you'll be asked question at least.
But you're not being, I don't know, okay, let me not go as far as saying, you're not being, it's not about your politics now.
So for those who are saying...
if you don't keep your hands clean
Yes.
while you're going about your politics,
Come to equity
somebody,
with clean hands.
You must come to equity with clean hands.
there you go, there you go.
Yes,
And that's
you must
the
come
point.
with equity.
But it'll
Because
be,
if you don't come with clean hands, you have find your hands.
but it'll be very interesting to hear
Completely
what the courts have to say about the matter. They've listened to the yeas and the nays in the public matter, in the public space. Now the courts will pronounce the only significant, the only position that we must all now go by. I want to thank you very much, Mr. Ken Kolugbo, former commissioner in Delta State.
It's always my pleasure.
And Mr. Chuks Nwoko, public affairs analyst and publisher of MDG Magazine. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming on, as always. And I'll see you tomorrow, God willing, with a fresh edition of the program. I'm Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.